to Fight Night Hearthstone Edition, featuring some of the top players from around the world. With $15,000 of prize money on the line, who will go home the Hearthstone champion? This is Fight Night.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Hearthstone Season 5 of Fight Night at ESGN TV. It's time for more card play and RNG slinging action, and we're getting ready for DogeHouse versus Managrind this time around.
Now let's meet the players. From Team Managrind, Reels, Dark Onyx, Chucky, and Forsen. From Team DogeHouse, Nyx, Savage, Artosis, and Ek0p.
I'm here in the East Corner with Team DogeHouse, who you just met. Welcome back, Dan, Artosis, and crew.
Thank you very much for it, and we're really excited to be here and play against a new team in Managrind.
So the first question I want to ask is, you guys brought back Nyx instead of Nimsh. What was the reason behind that?
Well, you know, we're a team of 5, and there's only 4 players here, so everyone's just going to take their turn playing.
All right, well, I can't wait. Nyx, welcome back to the set. This time around, are you as confident as you was the first time you were here?
I'm even more confident. I'm not feeling any pressure, and those guys are here the first time. They will have a hard time.
Savage, you came last time back with heavy expectation you to perform well. Do you feel like you've overcome that hill of nerves?
Yeah, this time around I feel way more relaxed and even more confident.
Ooh, even more confident. Now, I don't have to ask about confidence level for Ek0p, but Trump isn't here. Who are you going to direct the fury of Ek0p towards?
Well, maybe I might transform my negative energy into positive energy this time. Nah, I will probably find someone to hate, for sure.
Oh, goodness. Well, I can't wait. Now that you met Team DogeHouse, let's go ahead and meet who they're facing in Team Managrind. I'm in the West Corner with Team Managrind. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Thank you.
So, Dark Onyx, as the team captain, can you tell me and explain how you guys invited your team?
We took a mix of the European and a team. We took the 2 most privileged people to come here and experience and just play style. And to have a mixed play style. So we just picked 2.
Now, let's go ahead and go to the end of the bench, Chalky. You haven't really traveled too much outside of North America. Are you excited to be here?
Yeah, I'm really excited. This is my first time out of North America, so new experience.
Your teammates are really confident in the amount of skill you bring, even though you don't have much experience competing outside of it. You feel really confident in your own skills as well?
Yeah, I think I can do pretty well here.
All right, well, good luck. Forsen, you're a former professional player or semi-pro player for StarCraft 2. You must be really calm and composed in this situation, yeah?
Yeah, I am. The experience I've gained from traveling to tournaments and stuff like that really helps me here.
And then tournaments, speaking of which, iHearth, King of the Hill, you were 3-time winner, Reels, that was correct? So you must be feeling pretty confident in your skills as well.
You know, we're here to play, and, you know, we have a wide range of, you know, skills and different, you know, sort of styles that we are bringing to the table, hoping to throw them for a loop and play some good Hearthstone.
It's going to be good Hearthstone indeed. It's going to be a little bit different as well this time for Season 5. Let's explain how this weekend's going to go before we start the action.
So here are the rules for Fight Night Hearthstone Edition. 8 players form 2 teams and battle it out 4v4. 2 team captains spin the heartless ESGN wheel, which will determine the matchups. Now the battle begins. In order to win, the player has to beat all 3 of his rivals' decks. After all the players have battled solo, it's time for the final ace match. All 4 players on each team unite in a grand showdown to find out who is the strongest. Ultimately, the stakes are high. Teams can win as much as $5,000 for crushing their opponents. If one team manages to go even further and clean sweep their opponents, the winners will receive a huge bonus reward of $5,000 on top. Hearthstone is a 1v1 digital card game developed by Blizzard Entertainment, the company behind famous franchises such as StarCraft, Diablo, and the World of Warcraft series. Currently in the Hearthstone beta, you have the choice between 9 hero classes, akin to the Warcraft counterparts: Warrior, Shaman, Rogue, Paladin, Hunter, Druid, Warlock, Mage, and Priest. Each class has its own unique set of cards that you can choose to customize, as well as a unique hero power that you can use once per turn. Each player chooses 30 cards before the match, This format is often called constructed and is considered the primary form of competition in any collectible card game. Hearthstone is turn-based. Both players take separate turns to play their cards. You can play as many cards as you want, but be careful not to run out and be completely hopeless. The first person to have their opponent hit 0 health is declared the winner. With over 450 cards currently in the beta alone, Hearthstone offers an array of opportunities to build neat strategies and deck themes oriented around various playstyles. Similar to other strategy games, there is no one deck to rule them all. It comes down to who prepares the best and who gets the draws.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the wheel. I'm joined with Dark Wanix, the team captain of Managrind. Now you get to spin the wheel because newcomers first and DogeHouse is deferred. Is there any player that you feel like from DogeHouse that you want to go first for your team?
I would like to face Savage first, actually, to send him out.
Oh, send him out early with an early exit. All right, well, let's see what happens with the Wheel of RNG. Take it away. Looks like it's not. Instead, is it going to be Nyx or Ek0p? All right, the first player from Team DogeHouse will be Ek0p. Is there any player that Ek0p wants to play?
There's no one that he really wants to play, but I want to spin Forsen here.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see what happens with the Wheel of RNG. Nice spin, dude.
Nice.
All right. Starting to slow down. And it might land on Forsen. Wow, how'd you do that?
I've spun this wheel a lot of times, Frodo, and I know what I'm doing.
It's not even... Doesn't even seem like it's fair. Well, Dan, why don't you go commentate with Ek0p and get ready for the first match between Ek0p and Forsen.
Orange juice poured and candles lit. I am Artosis, and this is Ek0p.
Wow. That line.
That line.
You did it.
Here we are, man, back at ESGN TV's Fight Night. This is Season 5. We've had 4 great seasons before, and now we have a new team in Managrind.
Yeah, we have a new team, a slightly new format, and pretty excited to see what they have ready for us. You know, these are players that, you know, not a lot of them are too out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be an interesting dynamic where we're going to see, you know, kind of like the underground good players of Hearthstone coming up.
That's right. You know, we're starting to add in a lot more teams here, mix it up a bit. What do you think about Managrind? What can you tell us about them?
Well, we talked to them you know, for quite some time, and we found out, you know, they all have their own thing. They have a really big group of players, and it was, you know, kind of like a voting thing. They kind of decided who they wanted to bring here out of their group of, I believe, 50 across America and Europe.
It's quite a big group.
Yeah. And I mean, hopefully they're the best, and hopefully we can see some interesting stuff.
Indeed. You know, we have Ek0p going up against Forsen first, but before we talk too much about that, let's go ahead and see what they have to say about each other.
My name is Jan Paulis, also known as Ek0p, and I play for Team DogeHouse. I mean, Forsen I don't know anything about, just like Chucky. So Forsen, all I know about him is that he's a former StarCraft pro from Sweden, and yeah, and that he playtests with Dark Wanix. So, I mean, yeah, obviously he's gonna be pretty good if he's here, right? So, never seen him play too, so I have no idea if he's good or not, but we will see.
My name is Sebastian, Forsen Force, and I'm playing on Team Managrind. Ek0p has gotten a lot of shit from his recent behavior in the ESGN, which I think is falsely placed, because if this was any other game like StarCraft or MOBA, that would be nothing like what he did, like the face. It shouldn't be that harshly condemned in my eyes. Yeah, there's like the added pressure that you really don't want to lose to Ek0p because you will get humiliated by him. So there's that, and that might be a factor, but other than that, I don't think there's any advantages to be behaving like that.
It is easy to beat anyone when you're Ek0p. So I don't know what to say. Like, I mean, I know I'm one of the best players in the world, and I prove it most of the time. So yeah.
All right, so Ek0p against Forsen. You know, Ek0p is obviously someone that we've seen every single fight night so far.
Yep.
You either love him or you hate him. What do you think? Do you love him or do you hate him?
Well, there's got to be that guy to absorb the hate. You know, the guy you love to hate. And it's the internet. There's a lot of people who are in that category.
That's true. Well, Ek0p is certainly one of them, but a very strong player indeed.
Yep. I mean, it's really tough to win at this level. And even though I believe Ek0p is 50%.
Yeah, he went 2-2 so far in Fight Night matches.
It's been a pretty good run. He hasn't really made too many mistakes along the way. And out of the norm, you know, mistakes do happen.
Well, you know, I was actually hoping, because he got spun first, I was hoping he would actually go ahead and get Forsen, because Forsen is one of these, he's a newer player here for us from Managrind. It used to be a StarCraft 2 pro.
That's right.
But very specifically, he's known for having kind of wonky decks.
Yep, absolutely. We'll see here shortly. You know, maybe it's not completely crazy decks, but everything's going to have a few cards that you don't really expect. And, you know, Ek0p does like to put on a show when something unusual happens. There's probably going to be a few unusual things that are about to happen.
Yes, no doubt. There will be some funny faces coming out of Ek0p.
Hopefully.
So let's go ahead and throw it to a quick commercial. When we come back, we'll start game number 1.
Stay tuned for more Fight Night.
I got a huge deck. How big is your deck? When I'm not faffing to top deckin' and wreckin', I'm watching Fight Night.
Welcome back to Fight Night.
All right, well, welcome back, everybody. Here we are. It is Ek0p against Forsen, and the starting decks are going to be Shaman for Ek0p, and it looks like Warlock for Forsen.
Yep. Not too out of the box stuff yet, but you know, it may be an interesting matchup. A few cards that are a little bit different than what I've seen personally. You mentioned that perhaps nowadays it's a bit standard to run the doggy in the
Yeah, you know,
in the lock aggro.
The Direwolf Alpha is it's a good card for Warlock aggro nowadays. I've certainly been seeing it pop up more and more on the ladder, so not too surprised to see that there.
It's got that, and it's got the stopping the taunt action that tends to put a halt to the damage of the Warlock.
Indeed.
So I'm not sure how it'll match up against the Shaman. The Shaman's the kind of class that, you know, it kind of fares all right against most of the stuff.
That's right, and in fact, this Shaman version playing some other cards that we haven't seen as much in the past from DogeHouse Shaman decks, you know, such as that Wild Pyromancer. So a card like that definitely going to help out here.
Oh, certainly. There's a lot of cards in the lock aggro deck that only have 1 health. And if you can pair that guy with a spell, you get the freebies. And the cheaper they are, the nicer you feel. And free is as cheap as they get.
Free is as cheap as it gets. Yeah. That is for certain. Well, with that, I think we're just about ready to start game number 1. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see who wins.
Versus Gul'dan.
All right, here we go. It looks like we're going to have those mulligans starting up right away. Not the best starting hand
What do you do with Mortal Coils against the Shaman? Shamans don't tend to run many small creatures. They just have the small removals, don't they?
No, yeah, it's not a whole lot, but I guess, you know, that's something that can kill Wild Pyromancer pretty well, and sometimes that little 1/1 totem, but you're obviously going to throw those back against the Shaman deck.
Yeah, Wild Pyromancer cannot be that common these days.
No, this is actually kind of a new development. It's actually, I believe this has originated with Strifecrow, as so many new developments do.
Well, as the cards come in, Void and the Knife Juggler, pretty fair. The Void can prevent against some of these Stormforged action. Definitely don't want that to happen to your Knife Juggler.
Well, that is, you know, that you always feel really bad, especially if you do something like coin out a Knife Juggler and then get it Stormforge Axe, or of course Lightning Bolt can still hit it, but the Voidwalker are going to be the best first turn play here.
Absolutely.
And as we see, this is kind of like a more late game hand here for Forsen. So not necessarily the best hand, but not too terrible.
Yeah, when you play the Warlock aggro, you really want to see a Flame Imp or just another annoying one-drop like a Squire that'll stick on the board at least until the next turn.
Yeah. But, you know, he has an okay mana curve with that, with the coin out. And in fact, a Wild Pyromancer coming out already.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a problem, I think. I mean, it kills the Voidwalker, and the Knife Juggler can possibly ping it to death in the next turn, but that may be a bit optimistic.
Well, you know, I have to agree with you there. That may not end up working out. So, the thing is, though, this Pyromancer isn't going to live for too long. Like, he can't kill the Voidwalker and play a spell, or he dies. So, it's got to be careful about that. But it looks like next turn, Forsen will probably coin out that Dark Iron Dwarf. If that ping hits,
could be.
It's quite nice.
Yeah. I mean, with a Warlock deck with this low curve, the chance to draw another option, especially with a coin in hand, is extremely high.
Quite true indeed. Well,
and I don't think playing the Dark Iron Dwarf is great if you can just play anything else. I think if you get like a Harvest Golem or even just another 2-drop, I think you might play that instead.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Having the Dark Iron Dwarf out with just that Knife Juggler, not the coolest thing ever. And it looks like, we're just going to have a Totem pop out, and he's going to go down to 1 health on this Pyromancer.
Oh, man.
That could go down. If a knife hits that is amazing for Forsen.
Oh, we got the Argus draw. I don't think that's better than the Dark Iron, unfortunately.
No. But the Dark Iron is kind of wasted as well. Like, you're just going to hit the Totem anyway. It's kind of sad. But he's going to go ahead and do that. Let's see. Does that knife hit?
Something.
Oh, nope. And it misses.
That's a really big deal. I mean, that's the difference between keeping your Knife Juggler alive versus not for nothing.
Yeah. Well, now this Pyromancer has a lot of different options. What would you do here, Ek0p? Are you just going to play out a spell, or are you going to attack with him?
Well, he seems to want to play the Feral Spirit before attacking, which we know is not going to end very well.
No, that's probably not the best move, and in fact, I don't think that's a good move at all, really.
It's actually really far from the best move.
Yeah, in fact, I think passing the turn is almost, maybe not better than that, but close.
Yeah, it's not quite as good because with the Knife Juggler alive, you'd probably kill the 3-1. Okay, the Feral Spirit, not a great move. The Feral Spirits probably will both eventually die to the Dark Iron, but I think the idea is that, you know, if you could pat him down a little bit, you could maybe do a Lightning Storm next turn. Yeah,
I think that's what he definitely does want to do, but looking at this hand, there's not going to be a giant committal coming out of his opponent here. So, you know, that Lightning Storm not going to be quite as valuable as he would hope.
Yeah. I think here you might even Argus just so it stays alive.
I have to agree with you there. I think that an Argus here is really, really nice. You have that 2/3 body out, you make this guy a bit bigger, but no, he's actually going to life tap and just play a Flame Imp. So,
the question is, do you Lightning Storm this? I don't think so.
Well, you might. You're sitting here at 3 mana.
Certainly
you
not
get a
now.
Stormforge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely don't need to.
Oh. There it goes.
Yeah, I guess it looks like he wants to. This is going to preserve his life total a little bit more, and you can always use that axe a little bit later on, and he still has a taunt out, so not all bad.
Next turn you're on 4 mana, so you can axe Flame Tongue or like Flame Tongue Totem, I think are, in general, the better plays.
And it looks like a Harvest Golem going to come out here for Forsen after life tapping. And you know what? As we're getting later into this game, this deck is going to... You know, he's got a lot of cards still left in hand and a lot of damage there as well.
So here you can finish off the Harvest Golem with the Earth Shock after attacking into it. I'd imagine that's what he's going to do, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, it looks like that is exactly what we will end up seeing here. And that'll leave him down at just 1 health. We did have a Mortal Coil in his opponent's hand, didn't we?
Fishy.
Oh, look at that. Yay for Pagel. Golden Pagel always draws. The people on the internet told me that. So we have the possibility of a Mortal Coil here, which is always really nice value, but that means the Argent won't come out. But obviously that's going to be a good play. Probably a life tap and maybe a Harvest Golem as well.
Do you think the Pagel might get Soul Fired here?
Huh. He could. You know what? Yeah, I don't think it's a bad play. But it looks like he wants to just pass the turn.
Well, now Pagel's gonna go for some vengeance.
Well, this is what you get for not soul firing Pagel. You gotta know that he can go for the beatdown. That Flame Tongue totem out there. Now at 7 mana, there's actually quite a few options. I don't really like many of them.
There's
though.
the sick play of buffing the Pagel with the double Flame Tongue to set up a play for the Alakir in between the Flame Tongues next turn.
Well, that would be pretty good.
Pretty vicious if it works out.
Pretty vicious, but the thing is, I'd be really surprised if both Flame Tongues ended up living through that turn.
Well,
I mean, maybe if you play...
have a 4/4 Pagel.
That's true, but I mean, you're going to want to kill those totems off really badly. Maybe if you played the Wild Pyromancer with it, because Warlock decks generally are just so afraid of that card. Maybe that could bait him into making a wrong choice there, and that would be crazy though if that worked out with the double totem. What you could do, just in case the Pagel would die, is put both the totems next to each other and just do the oops.
Yeah.
Do the mistakes were made or whatever. And looks like he's actually just going to go ahead and use his defender.
Okay. So I think we're going to have a big turn from Forsen here. He's probably going to Argent Commander and Soulfire something, I would imagine.
Yeah, it does look like that. Well...
You really want to buff the attack of that Harvest Golem by 1, but you can't effectively do that.
No, right now playing the defender just doesn't make any real sense. I mean, you could life tap and do it, but then you're like sitting there with 1 mana left, and it's kind of gross. Whereas with double Argent in hand, you really want to play one of those guys out.
The thing is, like with Argent and Soulfire, something's gonna have to live through.
Yeah, I think you probably let the well, if you let the 2/3 live, then the Argent dies no matter what.
So
that's still 2 for 1.
Yeah.
You don't like any of these plays, do you?
No.
I see you shaking your head.
What
would the great Kriparian do?
I actually
right
think
here?
I might leave the Pagel. I mean, how many fish can that guy really catch in one match?
Well, he's golden, and this is Team DogeHouse, so there's a possibility of quite a few.
Okay. Well, when things are brought into perspective, perhaps, perhaps I was a bit mistaken.
Like all right, well, I mean, I would be really surprised if he doesn't play Argent here. That is a very, very obvious play.
That is true. Seeing of Soulfiring, he probably doesn't value the 2 Argents.
That's actually really smart to do that first, of course. Get rid of one of your Argents. And looks like he's going to do exactly what you were saying. So, pretty strong board position for him right now, but we still do have a 1/1 Taunt Golden Pagel. You can never underestimate that. And no spells out here right now, but he does have the Flame Tongue. He does have Alakir.
He can wipe the board with Alakir. He maintains Pagel with 2 taunts up. I think that's a very strong play. I mean, with Alakir, you want that card to be like, hey, you're dead from 20 life.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's...
But against aggro Warlock, I think it's actually a much better play to just clear the board, keep taunts out, and live into the next turn. And I would like to see that, but it looks like he's thinking about just sacrificing this Pagel into the Argent. And, well, it looks like he's going to get overloaded by 1, which means...
next turn he can
still do it. Huh? Oh, he's going to just attack, I guess. All right,
yep,
that makes more sense, of course.
It does, but then we might see a Mortal Coil leading into Sadness.
That's true.
Because we do know there is another Argent Commander in his hand. He didn't end up discarding it with a Soulfire. So if he does get a Mortal Coil, he can do that and Commander down the Totem, and then... Well, he's got Alakir, I guess.
Ooh. Well, with that healing totem, I guess that there's not going to be any mortal coiling going on. All right, so that was actually a really good totem pull. That was definitely the best totem he could get here.
Yep, and that's best outcome of the Pagel.
Yep.
Against the no fish, the fish is pretty good.
Indeed it is. Right now, looking at this hand, I mean, I would say that we're probably going to see that Argent come out still. Probably trade the Golem for the Pagel as well.
Yeah, I'd trade the Golem for the Pagel and probably kill that Totem with the Argent Commander.
Yeah.
And
would you life tap as well?
I think so. I think you have to.
Oh, and he actually chooses not to.
Yep, he wants to keep his Golem in full strength.
Okay. Yeah, not a bad play. Keep that extra guy out there, especially when you know that your opponent is playing with Wild Pyromancers. All right, so now, we have this Gajazon in hand, but 0 spells. We have this Pyromancer in hand, but 0 spells. And we have this Unbound Elemental in hand, but 0 spells. I think he's probably going to play Alakir this turn.
Yeah. Well, he wants to see what he draws, because I think one card here might make a big difference.
Ooh.
And that is a card that does make a big difference. Here he can Gadgetzan, Wild Pyro, Lightning Bolt after axing the Golem.
That's so good. It clears the board, it draws him a card, and with the Healing Totem, he gets it all healed right back up.
Absolutely.
That's like an amazingly valuable play.
Oh, Forsen seems to be hunting for a specific type of skin there on the tent.
Which skin do you like to go for?
I actually am not a big fan of the skinning there,
No.
but when I do stream, it seems that the chat favors the zebra.
Yeah, I've noticed that overall Twitch chats do enjoy zebra skins. I would be really surprised if he... Oh, wow. Looks like Ek0p is kind of announcing that he's going to play this card. I'm actually a little bit surprised by this, I have to say. I thought the other play was a bit better. He would have gotten to clear the entire board and draw a card and have everything healed.
The only thing that I can really imagine is that down 1 Soulfire, down 2 Argent Commanders, doing 4 damage to a taunt from nothing might be pretty difficult.
Okay. Well,
I think there's some merit to the play. Oh, there's the other Soulfire.
There it is. Yeah, and
What do you do? That
this hand is not very good at all.
It's nothing.
Like this Tink Master is obviously not a very good play here. Do you play your Abusive Sergeant and hope that Soulfire throws away Tink Master or something? I don't even...
I mean... I don't know.
I don't like any of these plays. This is an unhappy hand.
I feel like if you're gonna Soulfire that guy, you might as well Leroy, and if you Leroy because he dies to the Whelps, you might as well Tink him. Maybe get a 5/5 that doesn't die to the Whelps.
Ooh.
But that means you'd have to survive the discard.
Yeah, and that's just too wild. You know what? I would say Soulfire first, and that would be cool though if he actually got. But what if he gets the 1/1? Then your opponent has an extra Whelp on the board. Don't you feel like a fool?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, it might, because you might have, I don't know, some more 1 health minions, but I don't know. This hand is really terrible right now. There's a lot of situational cards in the Warlock deck, and it's really based around having several of them on the board, so the situation is usually good. When you have none of them, things don't end well.
And,
by Leroy.
He actually gets the 5/5. Okay. Very nicely done. That was a great Tink. What do you think about that?
Well, in between the 5/5 and the 1/1, you definitely go for the bigger numbers when it's on your side of the board. So that's,
generally.
Yeah, that's a good outcome.
All right, so it looks like the Gajazon may be coming down this turn.
Well,
if he does do this though,
you gotta have the you need a little bit of extra on the Lightning Bolt.
Well, he could play Azure the Pyro and use the Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
And then just use his axe on the Tink Master, and once again he clears the board. He's at 20 health, and everything heals up. It's like really good situation. But he's
he
looking
really
pretty
wants to
greedy
draw
here. I feel like this is a little bit more greedy than he needs to be against empty hand Warlock.
Again, it might just be the case that he doesn't think Forsen has an answer to a no board 4 health minion. Just thought Leroy discarded. I mean,
that's true. Well, I mean, if he's drawing just completely blankly, I guess that is the case. And he's going to go ahead and take 5 to his own face, but 17 is not something that's going to be dealt damage-wise.
Well, you're essentially taking 7 to your face, because without dealing with a 2/2, that 2/2 is not going to be trading, I don't believe.
Yeah, probably not. And this hand not really becoming even any more exciting.
Yeah, when you're out of cards in a Warlock, and you're up against a Shaman who actually has creatures, you need some kind of reset, and we know there isn't one.
Yeah, this Night Juggler plus Lepronome, that's not the most exciting set of cards.
No.
I might take out that Healing Totem. I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that's probably the only chance you have is get some really nice juggles and cards or something. I don't know. This is looking pretty grim. We may relive the prophecy, the first win on the DogeHouse.
Yeah, for sure. This guy, yeah. Ooh, do you like him attacking there?
I don't even know. I don't think either play is good. So you just do whatever.
The thing is that one knife, I guess that means that he can't just attack with this guy into anything, but... Ugh. Alright, let's see what he draws here. He does have a Hex in hand at this point. Could always draw him a card with that. Probably wants to continue to clear up the board as he is at only 15 health, and with that many minions out, stuff can snowball pretty quickly, even though we've already seen 2 Argents, Leroy, and both Soulfires. You know, there still are some other cards out there that could be problematic.
Wild Pyro, just fill the board, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could. It's too bad that Forsen isn't playing, what is it, Nether Void or something?
I mean, yeah. Something like that.
It'd be cool to put one of those in Aggro Warlock, right? Like a Deathwing.
Well, usually Hellfire suffices. We've seen that, not at Fight Night, but some Warlock games in previous tournaments. I think I've seen it a few times, but it's usually if you have to cast something like that, you're pretty much dead already.
Yeah, for sure.
Or you've lost, which is pretty much the same.
Well, looks like he's going to be taking out a couple minions here. And possibly even hexing. I think the hex is actually pretty fine. The odds of his opponent playing something like Sylvanas that actually needs a hex is very, very low.
Well, we know that the top end of his curve ends in Black Knight, which...
Ooh, Mortal Coil.
Whoa.
Well, I guess that could come in handy here.
It does come in handy.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Can run this frog into the goblin. Let's see what he gets. Oh, a Voidwalker. Well...
You're really happy about these draws, aren't you?
You know, they...
I saw that smile when the Voidwalker was drawn.
Well, listen, I like taunt minions. What do you want me to say?
Okay.
It's pretty good. Well, look at this hand for Ek0p. I mean, there's zero way for him to lose this game at this point.
I don't know. Maybe the power could go up.
I don't know. I feel like Forsen would probably just be like, no, you have this win if the power goes out, because he's dead next turn, and I don't think that there is anything possible in his deck. In fact, I know there's not.
Deathwing would work here for a little bit.
Well, unfortunately for him, we have his deck list, and there's no Deathwing in there.
Yeah.
And that's it. It looks like Ek0p gonna win game number 1 by a pretty big margin, too, there.
I mean, like, I tried to mulligan, like, I have so many 1-drops in that deck, but I didn't get, like, any except one Voidwalker. It was, like, oh my god.
You're right, it was not ideal.
I don't think I misplayed at all that game. Yeah, because if he plays if it's a handlock that he has left, I can't win with it with the Druid. Yeah, I can. It's just that if it's a handlock and I win with my Shaman against the Shaman, but then like he wins with his Miracle Rogue, I don't have anything that I can have for the handlock.
Yeah, so we're definitely down.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
If he goes for Druid, I think he's going for probably a bad matchup, but his Druid could be that it has like Ancient of Wars. Those cards.
Interesting.
He was playing that Druid deck like some weeks ago. It had like just a bunch of big ass creatures with Pounds, White Ghost and stuff.
Okay. Interesting. But I think I should be well suited
so
to
you
do
could
this.
take it in the late game and try to outdraw him with Genius, for example. Be greedy. And the Shaman Mirror.
I mean, Ancient of Waters gets wrecked by Earthshock.
If you picks Druid, remember to keep the Hex if you narrate something big.
What I'm starting to think about is, now that we've seen the match, now that we've seen the deck play out, it's really standard deck, and you know, maybe he didn't give it too much thought, because we know Forsen to be, at least from the other players on his team, to be a very creative guy with very unusual cards.
Yeah.
And this deck was pretty standard, so maybe he didn't really care too much about it. Maybe he didn't practice it as much.
Well, this might just be a deck that he's decided, you know what, let's go ahead and use just like a standard aggro, because when you're getting creative, it's normally not as much in an aggro deck. Normally it's going to be more mid-range or control-y that you're getting creative in.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So
we'll have to see what's coming up.
Yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and see what decks these guys are going to choose in just a moment.
See you after the break for more Fight Night.
Yeah, I gotta go now. I have some friends coming over soon, so... Yeah, alright. I love you too, Mom. Bye. Oh, that's gotta be Trump. Good thing I have those delicious cookies ready.
This just in, Ek0p is a nice guy.
ESGN TV's daily news. Just watch.